name's Luke Baker. I'm an actor playing Frankie Valli.
And obviously, Jersey Boys' 20th anniversary tour this year. What kind of first drew you to want to be part of this show?
Um, I've always really wanted to be part of the show. I think I've auditioned for the show for different parts since 2012, and it's never worked out. I looked very, very young in 2012, and so that went against me. And then I was in for Frankie when came in for the Trafalgar, and then I figured out that I can sing very high, but I never got the part. And then, which was probably a really good thing at the time because then you can develop and grow. And then I came when I saw that the 20th anniversary was coming. I remember saying to my wife, "I'll go for it one more time and see what happens." And then luckily I got it. So happy days.
Happy days. And then how do you approach finding that version of Frankie's voice? As you say, it's so distinctive. How do you approach that?
It's a lot of practice. It's figuring it out within your own voice because it's not a natural sound that you sort of, you know, you don't tend to do it in loads and loads and loads of different musical theatre songs. So, if you have a go, then when you figure out you can do it to a degree, you then just refine it. And I think the more you sing it, the more you navigate it within your voice. So it's hard, but the more you do it, the more comfortable it gets. So
And what's the kind of
yeah.
most surprising part of the show you've found so far, kind of vocally?
Um, I think it's just that stamina. Like it's just it's a real marathon of a show, especially for Frankie, where you start out showing a 15-year-old Frankie, and then we see them at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame when they're older, and it's adding a bit of weight, adding a bit of experience to the voice, the confidence, the showmanship. We have to like gradually build the layers. So it's obvious, without sort of aging you up, you have to just take that on. And so, yeah, vocally, things like that. I mean, the vocals they're very, very, they're a real stretch for anyone. And I think that's why it's impressive because it is an impressive part to watch. I don't know if you've seen it before, but it is one of those where you go, God, it's a real sort of heavy part, and I want those parts in my career to challenge me. So yeah.
Yeah, of course. And for yourself, you're kind of proud Wakefield lad, and obviously
Uh-huh.
Frankie, kind of New Jersey. Do you kind of see any kind of correlation between your lives together?
With Wakefield, not directly. I mean, I think we're both sort of natural entertainers that ended up in the industry without being forced in the industry because it was just the right path to take for himself. For a lot of people in the business, it's the same. I wasn't sort of brought up as a performer in any way, shape, or form. I was a sports kid. And then I found it when I was about 15, 16. And then each year growing a bit more and then realizing that, maybe there's a career in this. And I think that was the same for Frankie, where at first I think it was a dream. And then, through years and then through more opportunities, you realize, okay, this is a career. And then I think the other similarities is that sort of laser focus between, making it work and making it a success. And I think I've got a hint of that in my life where, if I'm focused, I'm dead set and there's nothing in my way. And there's things like that. Also, I'm one of the only Frankies who's a dad. I've got a daughter, and a lot of the other Frankies have been very young, and maybe they've got daughters now, but I think when they were doing it, they probably didn't. I know a few of them, and I know they've got kids now, and yeah, and I think I can take that into my performance rather than it being a hindrance. I can say I've got that weight and experience on my side that I can draw on. So maybe those are similarities. Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously, it's more than just a. People might see Jersey Boys and think, oh, it's just a kind of jukebox tribute show, but it's obviously more than that. It's kind of much deeper. Obviously, Frankie's life, the troubles he went through. How do you kind of balance that journey, like you say, 16-year-old starting to the end of the show where they kind of career success? How do you balance that journey for you?
Sorry, what's the actual question then?
So how do you kind of balance that kind of journey as an actor when you like say start 16-year-old and then by the end you kind of like say without aging yourself up, how do you kind of progress that
Um,
journey?
well, like you add weight to it. You add um, lots and lots of emotion where and information. We skip years quite quickly. Where all of a sudden it in the sort of narration from all four boys in the different seasons of the show. There's a part that goes, now Frankie's married, now Frankie's divorced, now he's got this girl. So we just inform the audience, and then we've now got that information. But I think we have to create memories, or we have for ourselves that we've got history with these characters, and we have to sort of just be informed as actors, and then it should come across hopefully.
And then do you ever feel more pressure when you're playing a person's real life, like a legend like Frankie Valli, as opposed to like Zach Mayo, who've just played in Officer and Gentleman? Is there more pressure when you're playing a real person?
Yeah, I mean, you have to show respect to the real person. Obviously, everything in this show is to a degree true. It really happened, and I think audience members know, like, if you are being respectful to that character, and they'll see that if you're being truthful and honest, which is all an actor really wants to do, is try and find the truth in anything, and then yeah, you just have to respect it, and realize that they're real people. And then we're putting it on stage, so certain things like the Jersey Boys, the real Four Seasons didn't really move that much when they performed. So to that point, it's theatricalized, but yeah, from a personal point of view, where it's going through hard times or whatever, and this sort of search for this journey that he's on, you have to sort of figure it out for yourself and create these moments in your mind of memories, or fictionalize that, because obviously we weren't there, and the conversations that we're having on stage have been written for the stage, and they might have had similar conversations, but you can't say, right, this was exactly what they said and this was so. But yeah, like I said, I think it's just that respect that they were there, and I've we had a session with Bob Gaudio on Zoom, so we sort of met him, and
Yeah.
all the people who are involved with the creative side of it have met all these people in real life. So, you can always ask them, are they really like that? Or are they, am I making it up? Am I trying to make it dramatic rather than real? So we've got the information here that we can draw on, which is really, really useful as well.
And for yourself, if you could turn the tables and interview Frankie, what kind of questions do you think you'd like to ask him about his life?
God, I don't know. I mean, I think it was just like, how did he keep going through it all? When it was all really hard, and there were obviously quite a lot of moments that he could have just walked away. He would have had enough money. They're debt free at this point from the Tommy thing, and what makes him keep singing? What makes him want to do it forever? And I think I'm probably the same. Like, I never really want to retire. I kind of want to sing till I'm dead. And and I feel like, I don't know. It's I don't know what I'd ask him. Just I don't know. I'd probably just see how he is. But I don't think I'd be like, hey, can I ask you? It's really in-depth question. Probably just chill out with him and offer him a coffee.
Yeah. And for Luke, how do you kind of reflect on your own career to date at this point when you're about to step into this
I
role?
mean, yeah. I mean, to be honest, I've had such a varied career. I mean, from being sort of like forced dancer at the back to being understudy to being swings, and then deciding about 6 years into my career, I was like, no, I want to play parts now. And then navigating that journey has been a different sort of a whole different section of my career. And I'm really proud of what I've done in the industry already. And I think, like I've said multiple times to my close friends and family, that, if that was it, I'd be really proud of myself. I've absolutely ticked every box that I set out to do, and everything else now is bonus. And then this comes along, and you go, God, I can't believe it. And it's I feel really, really grateful. And anything after this is a bonus. And the thing with this industry, you never know what's coming around. I think you just got to be ready and open to see what happens. So that's yeah.
My final question for you, simply what would you hope an audience member takes away from seeing Jersey Boys?
Um, do you know what most people say? Like if they've seen it in the past, I think they go, "God, I didn't know what to expect," and then I didn't realize that I knew all the songs. I knew like 50% of the songs already for covers or whatever. And they go, "Did it? They really write all that?" And also, I don't think really people know the stories of really what happened unless you've seen it before. And I think ultimately, it's you could take the music out of it, and it would be an amazing play, or you could just do a gig of the music and they'd have a great night as well. So I think it's a given that audiences love this show, and I don't think we need to really worry about what people are going to think because it's 20 years old for a reason. You know, that it really works, and people are in for a treat.
Luke, it's a pleasure to talk to you. It just leaves me to say Jazz Boys starts on the 17th of June and you're touring all the way through till August 2027.